It really is a privilege and a pleasure to be here. This 2.5 years ago, I spoke before the Global Science Convention in Orlando, Florida, and very honestly, to our astonishment, we were absolutely mobbed afterward. We have a major breakthrough here. I think I'll give you a little background on how this all developed to begin with. In 1975 is when the initial breakthroughs were made in Phoenix, Arizona. Prior to that, just to give you a little quick history on myself, I had spent about 15 years in the insurance industry. Don't hold that against me, by the way. Very successful career, financially, certainly. Retired out of the business at the age of 34, a millionaire, and left, actually, an income of over $1 million a year when I walked away from the business in 1974. For 2 years, my last 2 years in that industry, I had been having reoccurring dreams, and it got to the point where it was actually flashing in my mind during my waking hours as well, that there was something else calling me, something else I should be doing with my life, and it became so prevalent, without my knowing exactly what it was, that in fact I just decided I must leave that business to find out what the answer to that question was. I moved out in the desert in Arizona, about 40 miles northeast of Phoenix, up against the Superstition Mountains, and my closest neighbor was about 3.5 miles away from me, so I was pretty isolated. I spent a lot of time over the next year in the Superstition Mountains and also out on the desert, and just doing a lot of what I called in those days soul searching to find out what it was that was calling me. In 1975, about a year later, I was led into Phoenix, mentally led into Phoenix, and told that the answer was there. I searched for about 30 days, going around different parts of the city, meeting people, talking to people in business and so on, and eventually ended up buying a speed reading company. I knew absolutely nothing about speed reading, by the way. That's what's so bizarre about all of this. I had never even taken a speed reading course in my life, and so it was truly off the charts for me as to why in the world I would have bought a speed reading company at that time. But I certainly know why today. Within about 30 days after buying that speed reading company, I became not only a speed reader and knew a little bit about the industry, but I also became very disillusioned with what I saw happening in the speed reading industry. And I'm giving you this background to let you know how and why all of this has developed. I found that an enormous percentage of people that go through speed reading courses, not only mine but others, regressed back to reading very rapidly after they went through speed reading courses. And in fact, I went out across the country and interviewed over 5,000 people that within the last year had graduated from different speed reading courses, and found that over 90% of them had regressed back to reading within 6 weeks after graduating out of speed reading courses. And that just didn't make sense to me. It didn't logic out at all, because speed reading worked. I knew that for a fact. Comprehension is better, retention is better for when you speed read, plus you're saving time. And that wasn't just statistics coming out of the speed reading industry, that was coming from the National Education Association. It was pretty much across the board. Speed reading works. The problem was, why? Why were people regressing? Why were people not holding on to this skill when in fact it worked, and in many cases they'd spend hundreds of dollars to learn how to speed read?